Hey everyone, we are live with Midwest Chicana, and we have such an amazing broadcast today to share with everyone. But first and foremost, I am actually taking a step back this time, and I'm going to give my friends and amazing people that do the work in the community who have this platform. So I am going to let Maite Salazar take the reins here and start introducing everybody while we wait for Mayor Quinton Lucas to show up. Hey.
Hola, ¿cómo están todos? How's everybody doing?
Bien, bien, gracias.
Bien. Yeah. Ándale. Okay, well, while we're waiting for the mayor to show up, Mr. Lucas, that actually is okay because it gives us time to introduce ourselves, because I am in this podcast with so many wonderful people and activists and poetry partners and coffee mates and art friends. So it's really, I'm excited to see everybody. I'm giving you all a big hug because I haven't been able to in so long. So, all right. So I'm going to start out with, yeah, I love you, Lucky. Let's start out with you. So Lucky Garcia is a member of our poetry group, La Resistencia. And Lucky, I love you so much, but tell everybody about you.
I love you so much too. Hola, ¿qué tal? I am a poet, so writer, community organizer here in Kansas City. I'm an Iraq War veteran, so I write about that. And I'm an organizer with One Struggle KC, which is a Black-led organization fighting police brutality in communities of color around Kansas City. And last year we launched our Operation Liberation program, which is a bailout program for Black people stuck in the cash bail system. We bail them out for free and get people set up with wraparound services to help people thrive, and self-determination is what it's all about.
That's amazing. Lucky is an amazing poet and performer. If you ever get a chance to hear Lucky live, take it. Even if it's on the internet, take it.
Thank you.
Every time I get the chills, you know. Right. All right. Let's go on to Diosselyn Tot, amazing superstar, UrbanWorks.
Thank you. Hi, everybody, and glad to be back. My name is Diosselyn. I pretty much grew up in the community since I was little and just been involved in several different things. I'm a co-founder at UrbanWorks, board member at Latino Arts Foundation, and connected with different organizations like AIR, Centro, and so many different amazing things that they're doing. So just kind of a very enthusiastic community member wanting to get involved and making sure that we have our voices in the table. Yeah. And Lucky, I'm going to have to look you up and look up your poets. I really want to see it now.
You have to.
Good time.
Yes, I'm going to have to.
All righty. And last but not least, of course, we have Edgar Muñiz. So can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, Edgar?
Yes, absolutely. Hi, how's everyone doing? You guys all do great things. I wish I was as great as you guys. Mine is it's a little bit less extensive. I don't know how fun this would be. So I'm with the Hispanic Economic Development Corporation, and my role there, I recently joined in April. My role there since I joined is to be the business assistance coordinator. So what we do is we work with small business entrepreneurs that want to develop, or Latino entrepreneurs that want to start their own business. So we help them with the process, technical assistance, and the whole process of developing, starting, or any loan assistance that they need. So we're kind of like at the ground level, assisting them to achieve social and financial mobility.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Edgar. I'm so happy that you're here today with us. And I should probably introduce myself fully. So my name is Maite Salazar, and right now I'm a Democratic candidate for Missouri's 5th Congressional District. I'm a group member of La Resistencia, same group as Lucky Garcia, and I've been in Kansas City being a community activist forever, so long time. Anyway, so we're still waiting on Mr. Quinton Lucas to join us. So kind of want to, while we're waiting for him to join us, let's kind of talk about just some of the things that to us that we're seeing as community activists that we need from the city and things that we need to change. So let's start with Lucky, if you want to give kind of like a little summary of what your question for the mayor was going to be about.
Sure. When Mayor Lucas first took office, was first elected, one struggle was in front of him from the beginning, saying we have expectations, and our city needs some real change, and we're going to hold you accountable. We are watching you, Q, and we're going to stay on you. And I think that we have done that. We continue to put pressure not only on the mayor, but on other city officials and the police for structural changes, for transformation, and in the city and, you know, throughout the state and throughout the country. And which I would like to remind everybody that this country was built by stolen Black bodies on stolen Indigenous land, and we can do whatever we want with this place. And people think that we are disempowered, but we're not. There's power in everybody, and we're trying to transform our city, our country, our world.
Yes, I love that. All right, let's switch it up. Let's go with Edgar. What would you like to hopefully talk about with Mr. Lucas today when he gets here?
Yeah, so the focus that I wanted to take was more on neighborhood and community driven issues. We focus on two minority neighborhoods, the west side of Kansas City and the northeast historic neighborhood in Kansas City as well. And last year we did a lot of work with the community when the Jackson County property values assessments, they spiked. We did a lot of groundwork there, and yeah, my kind of discussion was going to lead towards I guess have the residents that have been the long-term residents be able to kind of like the balance between development in those neighborhoods and allowing the long-term residents to continue to stay there and not be displaced. So I know we've seen that happen slightly in the west side neighborhood, and beginning in the northeast neighborhood. So that was kind of the take that I wanted to take with the mayor.
Right, especially with like you know, like the Jackson County tax hikes that they were doing, and I'm sure going to continue to do next year. That was affecting so many people that I talked to in the West Side that they, you know, are on fixed incomes and they don't have ways to just like magically come up with this extra money that the city wants from them all of a sudden, you know.
And a lot of the residents that we helped, that we volunteered to help them do the appeal process and advise them on how they should go about that were older residents that have been there for a while, and they're now on, like you said, fixed incomes. They live off of their retirement and have income that they can come up with to be able to pay those tax hikes.
Right. Absolutely. Cool. Thank you so much, Edgar. All right, Diosselyn, what would you like to talk with about Mr. Mayor Lucas today when he comes to join us at some point?
So, thank you, Maite. Sorry that I had a malfunction real quick, but thank you again. The main thing that I was going to ask is going to be on universal legal representation. There has been a lot of work that has been done by several groups. And several groups have been asking in many different ways to have some type of representation for the community that helps here with the economic, that lives here, works here, has neighbors here, etc. So that's going to be the main thing, just continuing to push those voices to come forward, continuing to see how they will support, continuing to see what actions have they taken, if any, and what actions are they planning to take. Because there's a lot of work already have been done. A lot of organizations are here. And just like Lucky said, we know that we have the power, we know that we have the resources, and we want to be heard, and we want to see those changes.
Absolutely. Deanna, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, so I'm going to try to tag him in here, and I did send an email as well back to Ali Hernandez, who set up the meeting for us, because I know that she said that he was having to leave by like 11:50, and we're about 5 minutes from 11:50 right now.
Yep.
So hopefully he'll jump on maybe for a little bit, or we'll see what happens. But yeah, my main concern is always definitely the issues going on right now with the defunding the police, definitely the protection of brown and black people in Kansas City, and then also the small businesses of the black and brown communities as well. And that includes the not-for-profits, which I am one of those too, in regards to how we're going to keep, them up and sustainable, and the support that we need from our city to help us rebuild or to build up from all the things that have happened. We seem to sometimes always get left behind. And, the last time he was on, he did say that he was very supportive of, trying to figure out ways to especially help the ones that are, less than 10 employees or, very small. The money they bring in is very small. But I have not heard anything since then.
Well, and if you're this late to the dinner party, I don't expect you to show up. But one of, right. So what I wanted to speak with Mr. Lucas about today was the local control of the police, which, as you know, we just got that in motion, and what that means for Kansas City to be a sanctuary city. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was, as a lot of you know, like we all just organized and fought off Vision Quest, who was a corporation that was going to come in and put a detention center for migrant children on Troost. And we said no, and they left, But what I've done is I've written an ordinance that would prevent any other corporation like that from coming into Kansas City and trying to put in a detention center for minor children. And so I would like for Mr. Lucas to present that to the council and to sponsor that ordinance for us. But if we can't get a hold of him, we can't really ask him to do things. So I am, I don't know about you all, but I'm a little disappointed today that we couldn't get 20 minutes for the Latino community here in Kansas City. But I'm glad that you all did show up, because we definitely have a lot to talk about. And whether or not the people in power are going to let us sit at the table doesn't matter. We're still going to do what we're going to do. And we're still making change in phenomenal ways every single day, especially one struggle. You all have been so amazing. The past few weeks, I've seen you all just working so hard and like bringing about, not just that we're in a struggle, but what we need from the struggle as well. And so I really commend you all for doing all of that work, and it's amazing. And I love you.
Thank you so much. I adore your work too. Buen hecho on writing that ordinance, and all your work with the Quest Center. And really, I want to uplift Diana, because this is really a great display of power of using art, using your voice to amplify other Chicana voices. That's how you build power. And, I think that it is critical now that brown people, Chicanos, Latinos, indigenous people, non-Black people of color, start to educate ourselves on anti-Blackness, start to break down those things in ourselves and in our communities with other Chicanos and Latinos. And it's critical that we start to build Black and brown power, to start fighting together, or juntos, for Black and brown liberation. That is that's what I'm about. That's what One Struggle is about. And this is a great platform. Thank you so much for having us on here today, Deanna.
I'm telling you, I'm honored, and I just give a little bit of what I was given by people that were not even from Kansas City that gave me a platform to be on. And just knowing that has always been internally something that I'm trying to always ensure that I continue to do, but within here in Kansas City. So that way people outside of Kansas City aren't the ones lifting us up, but our own people here in Kansas City are lifting us up. I mean, there's no reason why nobody else can do a podcast like I'm doing right now and bring the people that we don't know on here to talk about the things that need to be talked about. And it doesn't always have to be political. It can be about your family. It can be about your community. It can be about what you're working on, even if you don't have anything like legit yet. Those are the only ways we're going to find other people like myself who had been doing work for about 10 years prior to this, is by asking, is by inviting, because we're not always just going to just show up to places that we don't feel we belong, and that's the most frustrating part. And, I'm just going to be starting to work with the Porterhouse KC on the Chicano Cultural Art and Cultural Center of Kansas City. And I did that intentionally because we need to start building bridges with our Black communities. They're supporting our community, and I'm doing the same with him and their community. And it's like one big family. And if we don't start doing that, we're going to end up just like we are right now, just it's ridiculous. And so I just want to thank you all, and Edgar, you as well. We have not met. I hope we get to meet after this as well, but you all are invited anytime you want. You don't have to even use my platform. You can use your own. I will support you. I will share it. I will do whatever I can to ensure that the voices are keeping up.
And that's why we love you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think I just want to piggyback off of what everybody said. Like, definitely, this is amazing to have this opportunity, this platform, to be all of us together, because this is how we're going to win together, putting to our voices, joining them, uniting them. I think this is all what we want, right? And that's the thing, we all want the same thing. So why not start working together? And there's amazing leaders that can show us the way, could guide us. And the more people we have involved, the more things that we can come up together, like creativity, ideas. Trust us, like sometimes we're so into this that we need other ideas from outside. So I think this is amazing, because you see all these different types of levels of different leadership. So that anybody and everybody is welcome here. If you want to say something, if you want to participate on a more quieter level, like there's so many different options in this platform that we can do. So thank you for making that possible. And thank you for all of you guys that are willing to just have these conversations. Because like you guys said, if we don't know, if we're not exposed, then we're not in the stables, and we need to be in the stables. We need to keep pushing. And I think I saw, Alex said, this is a trend. This has happened to us a second time now that we're just kind of talking. So again, it goes back to continuing to put in that pressure and continuing to show up, because as long as we're here and as long as we're making that presence and everybody's watching, you see that it is a long process, and we need to continue to show up together.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well,
awesome.
Do it all the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Lucky had a great suggestion in our private chat in regards to if you want to just take a little bit of time to talk about the issues we were going to talk about amongst ourselves, and maybe with our community that is online right now. We have 31 viewers looking on that might want to chime in as well. I mean, Edgar, if you're okay with that, I know this isn't what you were expecting. If you want to hang on and continue the discussion with us.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. I'll stay on.
Perfect. Okay, Maite, take it away.
All right, cool. So we kind of did the overall of the issues, but Lucky, what are some of the specifics that you wanted to really get into with Mr. Lucas?
Sure, thank you. Well, since Mayor Lucas did not show up to talk with Chicanos today, let's talk about it here. And then we'll just have to send these questions to him another way. So I wanted to talk a lot about the police, Kansas City police, and their power and that they have in Kansas City. And I have 3 questions for Mayor Lucas today. And the first one is, Mayor Lucas, who killed Donnie Sanders? Which police officers killed Donnie Sanders? And why have you been withholding information from the public about his murder? people of Kansas City want to know who has killed Donnie Sanders, and we want justice for him and his family. Our second question today is, as mayor, you are a member of the Board of Police Commissioners, which we understand has the power to terminate the chief of police. Cameron Lamb was killed on December 3rd by two plainclothes officers on his own property. They shot him several times after sneaking in, shot him several times through his windshield. The prosecutor, Jean Peters Baker, has publicly stated that the police chief, Rick Smith, withheld evidence on the Cameron Lamb case. Now, before the mayor tries to give us some sort of weak comparison about how the police chief's activities are comparable to a poorly managed snowstorm, that's not the case. That's different than two plainclothes officers sneaking onto your property and murdering you. But we want to know, One Struggle wants to know, Mayor Lucas, why hasn't the Board of Police Commissioners fired Police Chief Rick Smith for withholding and possibly planting evidence in the Cameron Lamb case? And finally, we have a third question today. The city of Kansas City does not have local control over its police department, as Maite just mentioned, and that people will be deciding more of that later this year. And many of the community have been and are fighting to get local control of the Kansas City Police Department. In recent protests, we have seen the mayor work with the police to have them de-escalate their violence, to have them stop shooting people, to have them stop gassing and pepper spraying people, protesters. And we also have seen how the mayor will go down to the protest, make a speech, and as soon as he's done speaking and the news cameras are turned off, after he just said that the police will stop attacking you, he turns around and the police immediately attack again. They do not respect the mayor. And we want to know, how different will mayoral power be when we get local control of the police department? Those are our questions for today. And again, thank you so much for having us on the show, Deanna. We're taking police brutality in Kansas City very seriously. We are held accountable to the families of and loved ones of the victims of Donnie Sanders, Cameron Lamb, Terrence Bridges, Brianna Hill, and Ryan Stokes. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much, Lucky. And again, thank you to everybody at One Struggle and all of the work that you do and the community love that you all have, and the drive and the passion is just amazing. So thank you so much for that. Awesome. All right, let's go. Diosselyn, what would you have asked Mr. Lucas today had he kept his appointment with us?
So as I mentioned, a lot of it has to do with just our immigrant community and the Hispanic and Latino community overall. I think I had a couple of questions in mind. I had the art community, and then I had the Hispanic community in mind, and all these different things, because so much is going on in our world today that, you know, that there's a lot that we can talk about. But the thing is just because we know that we know that there's people here. We know that there's that community here that needs that protection. And even beyond that, you know, there's so many different individuals that still need to find some type of representation in our community. I think about safe and welcoming. I think about municipal IDs. I think about what are the policies that are welcoming for all in KCMO? What has been established? What will be established for different communities? I think about the LGBTQ community as well. And what are those things that are in place already that would help ensure that individuals are in a place where they can go and talk to higher powers to get justice for themselves. And also, I think overall, I was looking forward to see the questions from the audience because I definitely think that you guys' voice needs to be included. And if we can help be that bridge, like Diana was saying, if we can help be that gap, please definitely use us. Tell us, talk to us, because we want to make sure that those questions are out there. We know that we're not everywhere and we can't be everywhere at once, but we definitely do hear it out, and we want to make sure that those concerns and those topics are being brought forward. I think that's my biggest piece in this, and I like being in this because I know that there's different individuals that can come in here and start giving us tips, like Celia's doing, like Kia is doing, asking those tough questions that maybe we didn't think about, but we need to do it. And if we have this platform like Diana's doing, let's use it. But that was mainly my thing. It's mainly mine is immigration, art, and making sure that everybody feels welcome in the community, but also making sure that the community knows that they have a voice in this, and making sure that we can uphold, like, bring those questions forward.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Diosselyn. That's awesome. I really wish I could have heard the answers to those. Hopefully soon.
Yeah.
So I think we lost Edgar. We might have lost him a little bit. Deanna, but speaking of audience members, we do want to have those read if we have any. Deanna, would you like to read any of the audience member questions?
Yeah, so it looks like Celia has a great comment here saying, I'd be interested on how the other PD commissioners stand. I haven't seen statements from them. Lucky, have you seen anything come through?
We haven't, other than Jean Peters Baker, when the indictment of the officer with involuntary manslaughter came out, which, by the way, we are demanding a first-degree murder charge. So we haven't seen anything from there. I do want to inform people that our Board of Police Commissioners is made up of 6 people currently. You have 4 people who are appointed by the governor and the Senate. The mayor makes up a 5th person, and a 6th person is an attorney. And these are the people who have the power to, in Kansas City, and also because we don't have local control, this is where the power rests with issues regarding the police chief or the police department. So I want to, let people know that's where we need to be.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with that. Great.
Yes. Diosselyn, do you want to talk about Trinidad's question?
Oh, yeah, Trinidad's question.
Yeah, universal representation. So one of the main things, and I don't know if I'll do justice for everything that they have done, because this group has done amazing things already. So just want to give that fair disclaimer real quick. But one of the things that has happened is that kind of think about detention centers a little bit. It's not only focused on detention centers, but think about detention centers as an example. When you go in, you don't have a representative. You don't have somebody who's going to tell you what's going to happen, what is the process, what is the protocol, what can you say, etc. And even if there is, it's not in their language. So even if they are told, they may not even know that they are being told. So going with that, when you go to a detention center, you get pulled in, you get told that you're going to have, a place where you get to plead your case. And if it's said that way, it's probably said like you're going to talk to a judge eventually. Sometimes people don't get notice. Sometimes they are told an hour before. Sometimes they're told 12 hours before. But still, there's no, that you might be talking to a judge, but you don't know how the setup is. You don't know what you can or cannot say. You don't know what's even sometimes held against you. So it goes forward to, if you don't have nobody to represent you and you don't even know what's going on in that court, how can you defend yourself, right? So that's where the legal representation comes in. We want to make sure that these individuals do have somebody that represents them when they are with the judge, when they are, putting charges on them and they're saying this and that is, connected with this individual, and this individual might not even be the person, might not even know what's going on. It might have just been a, driving ticket that they passed a stop sign and all of a sudden they're in this situation and, it was just, they didn't stop in a stop sign. So it's crazy to think about how small little things that we see can turn into huge problems for others, to the point that this is where we talk about families being separated. We talk about not having justice when we lose people in the system, when we see that they are being taken advantage, abused, and not given their human rights because they are not being told, or because they are not being told in their own language, which is also a huge problem in itself. So legal representation will demand for the government to uphold individuals to have that representation when they are in front of a judge, when they are in court, when they are in these sessions, to have those individuals in place so they have some type of way to fight. And this is just the beginning step. Other states have done it. Other states have definitely shown the models that have worked. And I think it's Ohio, I believe, that has been done the work the most, but I may not be saying the right state, so please don't quote me on that end. But there are several states that are coming here and helping us out in KC, in Kansas, to be able to see this change. And we're in such a nice place with KCK and KCMO that we could do a metro change that could spark different ripple effects for other communities that are similar to us. We've seen it that it has happened in communities that are diversified and have that leadership and have those groups that are going forward. We have the same momentum here. It's just making sure that it happens. And that's where, again, legal representation comes, where we're asking individuals to have that in place so people get their due diligence. So people get those rights that they're human. Nobody should have to be in this position where you're just confused and lost and are fearful of what's going to happen and cannot even speak for yourself because you don't know. So again, legal representation is just to make sure that we start tackling these issues and start seeing changes within our systems so people can defend themselves rightly and also have those human rights that are for everybody. Nobody should be treated this way. Nobody should be in that fearful stage. Nobody should be separated from their families because they forgot a stop sign. I don't think that's fair. And that's where this group comes in. They've been asking for it. They've been working with different organizations. It's not just one organization. It's several organizations coming forward with several different perspectives and several different community leaders that are just doing wonderful work here. When they do clinics, when they do advocacy, when they ask for certain policies, when they go to the courts with them, the bonds, oh my God, like Lucky, that is a great help to have. You guys have no idea how many people are lost because they can't pay a bond. And it's probably a bond for something, again, it can be little things, and they put bonds of $1,500. And how is somebody supposed to come up with that in 48 hours, right? So programs like that are amazing because they do wonders and they take out people from the system when it's really hard to pull them out of the system already. And again, that's just one factor. There's several factors that play onto this, that these steps will help get to these other steps that will help us even further to get individuals the rights that they need to have.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Diosselyn. That was, I think that a lot of our problem kind of in getting these points across is that people just don't know what it's like. And, they don't know what people go through, and they don't know, that they don't have access to lawyers, or that they may not even, speak the language of whatever they're yelling at them. Who knows? So, so I think it's important for all of us to learn more and more about what's going on with the situation and do everything that we can to, pull it out by the roots immediately.
Yeah, you're totally right there.
Celia gave us some great information here, so I've just kind of left it up with the names of the people that are on the commission. So this is great information. Thank you, Celia, for always coming through with such great things for us to be aware of. So yes, this will be on the comments page if anybody wants to keep it for reference. And I just want to say how sorry I am. Like, for me, this invite was out on the table for a while. It's been almost a month or so. We did have one reschedule. It was just the time and the day and just the same week. And it's just, sorry. I feel very I think like Alex said, it's, it's who's important, to talk to individually, even though maybe, I don't know if he feels, I'm not going to speak for him, it feels the conversation's uncomfortable. But as a mayor, you do have to take those uncomfortable questions, and especially if our Latino community is asking them, then I feel like somebody should be answering, or at least giving us a platform, even for 20 minutes as to what he agreed to. I have no email back. I sent an email again. I have no response from Allie, and I have no response from the mayor. So I'm very disappointed. I worked with Allie Hernandez before, and it was great to get in contact with her to set this up. Even gave her the details of what we would be talking about and who was on the panel. So I don't even have an answer to why this would happen the way it did. Not even a sorry, things happen, get it, but nothing.
Well, this says a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah,
silence often says so much, and we see you, Q. We see you.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I would rather be spending my time with all of you. And also, Deanna, you don't need to apologize for his ass.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely, this is his disrespect. Like, you have
the thing,
dealt with all the changes, everything else. And if someone doesn't have the basic decent respect just to be like, I'm running late or I can't make it today, like, it's like, okay, yeah, it's a third reschedule, but at least we know what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the thing is that you're so right, Lucky. But for me, you're my community, you're my people, and for this to happen, I do take accountability for that, because it's like this was supposed to be for us, and a time for us to speak, and a time for us to give you all platforms to ask the questions, even if it was for 20 minutes. And that is not okay. And I'm probably going to lose followers. I'll probably lose people I'll probably get a lot of messages like, wow, you went overboard. But the thing is, if we don't start going overboard and start keeping people accountable, then we're just going to be keeping the same thing. This is going to happen again. This is gonna, no matter, and you know what? I probably won't even get another one. That's what's going to happen. It'll probably come down to that. I probably won't even get another reschedule or anything. So
you can go to him too.
Go to him, exactly. I mean, that's what one struggle has done with the prosecutor.
Yeah.
We're asking questions. We're demanding answers. She's not answering. We got people calling and emailing. We're up in her social medias, and she didn't answer. So we went to her.
Absolutely.
We've done the same with the mayor. We hand delivered our demands right to him in his hands. So if you're not going to listen and take the time, and especially if you're going to stand us up, well, we'll come to you. We can come to you.
Yes.
Yep. I agree, Deanna. I agree with everything. I think this shows something, and this is a space where we can talk about what I think Celia did put it forward already. What is our next steps? What do we want to do as a collective? There's this video now, right? It's already out there. So there's a start. And I think, like everybody's saying, you should not apologize for this. I think you have done a wonderful job at giving us this platform. And again, it's exposure, it's raising awareness. And everybody who's watching, what do we want to do?
And that's a great point. And Celia, yes, this I will post, just like I've done on all my other podcast posts. I will post it to my Instagram, to my Twitter, it's on YouTube live right now. Not that I have many followers there, but it's still out there, and it's on Facebook. So, and you all are free to share it as well. It does speak volumes. It really does. I agree with you, Lucky and Diosselyn and Maite. I just appreciate you all for always standing up for what is right and standing up for all of us, because even if I'm not out there with you protesting, I am with you in solidarity here and doing anything I can, in regards just this, just having this time here is, I hope, helpful in some way, that we are at least making some kind of changes, or I'm helping in some way to help you all.
Absolutely. Yeah. Art is a critical and necessary component to a revolution, every revolution.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. I do.
Absolutely, 100% agree with that. Art and dancing and singing.
You always
Wow.
have to have it. And food.
And food.
Yeah.
Ready and food.
Series is
All
right
the good things in life are in the revolution.
So do you all want to help me gather the questions? And that can be our questions, and then also questions that maybe some of the viewers did not get to put here or that we're going to put here. And then we can like send it in an email, maybe, with all of us on there and anyone else you want to put on there. So that way it's out there and hopefully it gets answered.
Awesome. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
About organizing something too.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm willing to talk with other Chicanos,
Yes.
other Latinos to organize something to deliver our questions.
Yes. That'd be great. Let's do
Awesome.
it. I'm ready.
Thanks so much, Anna. Thank you, Maite.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Love you all. I
Bye.
miss
You
you
too.
so much.
Same here. Bye.